Hello there, I'm Dan Augusto for Gearwire.com, and today we're going to be talking about sampling. In particular, making your own samples. So for this sort of demonstration, I'm going to be using Cakewalk's Session Drummer 2 inside of Sonar 6. So what I want to do is I want to take a drum beat. This is basically a drum machine in software form, and it has built-in MIDI files. We can hear one right here. And what I want to do is I want to replace the actual samples that are being used in this file so that they're new, and I want to create something new. And to do that, I'm going to be using the good old Shure SM57 dynamic microphone. All right, so first of all, we need to replace the kick. And I don't want this to sound real. I want it to sound sort of lo-fi, and maybe that'll make it interesting. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a little technique I like to call thumping the microphone. Sort of make that kind of sound. As we can see, we have a track armed in Sonar, and we are not clipping, so I'm going to go ahead and record this. First what I got to do is tell Session Drummer to stop playing. All right, try that again. All right, I think that worked pretty well. Yeah, that's pretty much the sound we're looking for. Don't even need to put any EQ on it. You can always mess with your samples in all sorts of ways. But this one I think I'm going to keep raw. Now, one thing I want to do, as you might have seen, is I'm doing sort of a slip edit. What I want to do is make these samples have certain qualities of the other samples. Most importantly, as you can see, I've loaded in some of the samples down here. This is the kick drum sample right here. And let's zoom in on it. As you can see, I'll actually make this take up the whole page. As you can see, this sample starts pretty much right at the beginning. But also, the waveform is at 0 at the beginning. And the reason we want that is because if it's not at 0, we're going to get a weird kind of digital click. That's not what we're looking for here. You could use that creatively, though. So what I'm going to do is bring back all my tracks, and here's our kick drum sound, and make it have the same beginning quality of the kick drum that we're replacing. So what I'm going to do is just bring it right up on top of the sound so that it starts right there. And now, as you can see, we're pretty close to 0 in our sample, but we're not quite there. We can see the waveform starts a little above our 0 crossing. So what I'm going to do is add a real small fade. That's about as small as we can make it. So what that's going to do is automatically raise the volume from 0 up in a very short amount of time and guarantee that at the beginning of the sample we have a 0 crossing. So let's take a listen to our sound. All right, that's pretty much what we're looking for. And as you can see, also at the end, I've done another fade out so that we don't have any clicks when the sample actually ends. So we're almost done with this. One thing I want to do is do a normalize on it. And what that does is it makes the level of our audio, it takes the highest level of our audio and finds, how far from a particular setting that we want it and raises up the volume of the entire sample. So I want the loudest sample to hit at -1 decibels. So I'm going to press OK in our normalize window, and it'll automatically just raise the level of our sample. As you can see, that waveform is a lot bigger now. So we're done with that, and what I'm going to do is export it, and I want to export it to our Session Drummers folder so that I know where it is. It's under Session Drummer, Contents, Kits. I'm going to make my own little folder to kind of emulate what we got here. So I'm going to make one called Homemade. Go into the folder and call it Kick. All right, I'm going to use a sampling rate of 48 kilohertz and a bit depth of 24, and we're going to mix down to stereo. Since we're mixing down to 24-bit, there's no need for us to dither, so I'm going to leave that off. And export. and our file is exported. So we can move on. Now we need to make a snare sound. So what I'm going to do is, using this plate that we use as a prop in one of our crosstalk episodes, I'm going to hit the mic, just right on the front. All right, I'm looking at the level right now. We look all right. So I'm going to record that. All right. Let's listen to that and see how we like it. All right, so what happened was the plate kind of bounced off and did like a double hit. I don't want that. Try it again. Now that one was a little loud, so I'm going to try it again. All right, that was good. All right, so I'm happy with that sound. And what I'm going to do is just edit out that first hit that I did, because I just kept on rolling. And do the same exact thing as I did with the kick. I'm adding the fades. I'm going to edit up the front. This is the most important part, editing up the front of your sample. So you always want to make sure that you do it right. Get right up on the sound, and then just a little bit more, and then add the smallest little fade that you can manage. And as you can see, I'm making great use of the zooming features that we can use in a digital audio application such as Sonar. Now give it a quick listen. All right. Now we just got to normalize. Do the same normalization up to -1 dB, and then export. Go to the same folder, name it. Done with that. I'm just going to get rid of it. And now on to our hi-hat. Now for hi-hat, I kind of like a beatboxing style. I'm just going to go into the microphone. Get a quick level. All right. That's pretty good. Let me see how it sounds. Now, if you're listening on some actual speakers, not your little computer speakers, you might hear that there's some low frequency energy in there, like kind of like I'm blowing into the microphone. And that's actually exactly what I'm doing. I don't want that in there. So what I'm going to do is open up just any EQ that you're used to using. I'm going to make a high-pass filter and just move it up. All of the energy in this that we want is up around here, this range. I'm just going to take out everything that we don't need. And let's see how that sounds. Much better. Do the same editing. It's always important to work in a program that you're used to. I'm very used to this program, and it just makes everything a lot faster, much easier. All right, right up on there, real quick fade, and the back end as well. Throw a quick fade on there, do a quick listen. All right, that seems loud enough. I don't think I'm going to need to normalize that one. Do an export. I'm going to call this one hat-CL, and the CL stands for closed. If it was open, I'd do something like tss, but let's just do this. Since the MIDI file that Session Drummer is playing only uses the closed hi-hat, we don't need to worry about that. All right, so now I'm going to get rid of my EQ. We're just about ready to replace our samples. So I'm going to open up Session Drummer, give another listen to the samples that are already there. All right, and so on this pad we have our kick. I'm going to unload the instrument. I right-clicked on there. I'm just going to get rid of it. So now we got nothing on there. And then click Load Instrument, and it automatically opened to our kits folder, or it should. Actually, it didn't. Contents, kits, homemade. All right. So we're going to add our kick sample to that one. our snare we got to unload first, and now load up our snare sound. And also load up our hi-hat. All right, now let's listen to the MIDI file playback. I'm going to loop it. We'll listen to the file playback with our new samples. So kind of interesting. Something that I encourage everyone to do is to make their own samples and use them in their music. You don't have to be as lo-fi as I am. You can actually sample your own kick drums. You can make sounds with a guitar or a keyboard and use it in the same way. So thanks for checking out this video.